G'day, how the fuck are we? I don't plan on going over the entire Gaming Bolt video, but I will say that a few, if not all the components, could be swapped out to make the build a lot cheaper and still reach the performance level of the One X, as shown with the Potato Masher PC. I'll link the channel for the bloke that built the Potato Masher for those who are curious. His videos are definitely worth a watch, and it really puts into perspective how easy it can be to match console performance as well as the price. But I wanted to go over a few issues I have with the video and then address a couple of comments from... I'm not sure whether they're fanboys or just misinformed, or perhaps even both. Anyway, onto the video. The things I want to focus on relate to Gaming Bolt being unable to stick to their own rules, so to speak, and even misleading people who might not know any better. Keep in mind that Gaming Bolt claim to be building a PC that matches the performance of the X, or, according to their title for the video, a PC as powerful as the Xbox One X.
Keyboard and mouse, Logitech MK550. Price at the time of this feature, $44.
Now, this could have been a fair bit cheaper. Granted, the point of the video is to match performance, but you can't get around the PC without any peripherals at all, so I can see why you'd want to add it, but I myself have bought a much cheaper keyboard mouse combo in the past that worked perfectly fine for gaming. My old Logitech combo was about $20 dues, so US you could probably get it for about 10, maybe even less.
Xbox wireless controller. Price at the time of this feature, $40.
The controller is not needed. The purpose of the video is now lost once they start adding unnecessary items that don't have any impact on the FPS of the game. Yes, some games might play better with a controller, gameplay wise, but that's not what this video is setting out to do. This video isn't titled, how much would it cost to build a PC with all the same components as the Xbox One X? It's about performance.
While keyboard and mouse input is likely how you're going to be using this system, there are plenty of console ports, the Dark Souls games for starters, that benefit immensely from having a controller. And let's admit it here, it's just more comfortable to have your paws around a controller.
Trying to pass off controllers being more comfortable as some sort of fact with his "let's admit it" comment, when it's completely subjective depending on the person, is very unnecessary also. Either somehow by accident or on purpose, they're subtracting the possibility of making an interesting and potentially even insightful video, and they're adding their own bias into it. Not exactly helpful for anyone that might be trying to learn something.
Windows 10. Price at the time of this feature, $139. Here's an unavoidable extra, the operating system. A Windows 10 Home Edition license will cost you an extra $139.
Windows 10 is overpriced. You can buy legitimate keys from eBay for much cheaper. There's not much else to say on that matter. Don't want to spend a lot of Windows? Buy from elsewhere, simple as that. But remember, this is about performance, right? So why not just use Linux? It's free, and you can play games on it. Depending on the game, you might have to run a virtual program, as not all games are supported on Linux. But the point is to match performance. We're not trying to recreate the X both physically and software wise, we just want games to run just as well. At this point, the video comes across as either being written by someone who knows nothing about PC gaming, akin to The Verge and their quote-unquote knowledge of building PCs, or they are injecting their own bias into the video in order to paint console gaming in a better light.
Wi-Fi dongle. Price at the time of this feature, $10.
Motherboard with a built-in Wi-Fi or use Ethernet. Boom.
It goes without saying that you'll be needing an internet connection, and while our motherboard pick does obviously have an Ethernet port, you'll want to pick up a cheap USB Wi-Fi dongle for wireless connectivity. This no-frills TP-Link dongle gets the job done. There's not much more to say about it.
At this point, we might as well add a charge and play kit to the cost of the One X because the batteries that come with the controller won't last forever. Also, if we have to factor in the price of a dongle in order to play online, why aren't they factoring in the price of Xbox Live? The bias is strong with this one.
Do keep in mind that we're factoring in the cost of peripherals and the operating system as well. Take those out of the picture and suddenly, you're within spitting distance of the One X.
They even admit that you could take out the peripherals and the OS to match it better. So what was the point of adding them in the first place when they don't impact your game's performance? You can even just use a free version of Windows 10 and deal with the Activate Windows prompt in the bottom right corner of the screen. Let's have a gaze at a few of these comments now. Carbon Suicide MTB says, "You forgot the 4K 60 capture card and 4K Blu-ray drive." He wasn't the only one that brought this up, and it's why I wanted to address it, as there were quite a few people that seemed to be asking the same or a similar question. In terms of capture cards, for those unaware, PC has a few options. AMD uses a program called Relive, whilst Nvidia has essentially the same program, but it's called Shadowplay. And then you've got a very handy free alternative called Open Broadcast Software, also known as OBS. Those are just 3 that I have personally used. There are more that you can use. Fraps is another one that comes to mind, but I haven't used it personally. So to begin with, PC doesn't need a capture card, and secondly, the capture card doesn't change the performance of the games you are playing. Remember, this is about matching the performance, isn't it? So my question to you is, how much of an FPS boost will I get in my games by having a 4K Blu-ray drive installed? That's what I thought. Rob Atkinson says to add fans and a monitor. Fans come with your case, and if we're going to factor in the price of a monitor, don't forget to do the same for the One X. This is a common argument fanboys, peasants, uneducated people, whatever you want to call them, try to make. You can't be selective and demand a component be added for one platform but not the other. The usual defense is, well, I already have a TV, but I don't have a monitor. Needless to say, it's a retarded argument, and I highly suggest people stop using it. Overall, this video is actually rather concerning as someone who was once a little worried about wrapping my head around PCs until a mate went through it all and made it very simple for me. Not to mention, you have many informative videos out there today that really help with building and understanding PCs. My sister watched one Linus Tech Tips video and built her first PC from that. It was just one roughly 12-minute video, I think it was, on how to build a PC, and that's it. She's never built or researched anything to do with PCs in her life. She watched one video from them and built her PC from it. What Gaming Bolt has done here is incredibly scummy and just full of bias and misinformation. I wouldn't recommend anyone take anything said in this video seriously. Get your info for PC gaming from anywhere else. Any other place would be a better source. There's nothing wrong with having a preference either, but there is something very wrong with flat out lying and misinforming people when the person doing this seems to have little to no knowledge on the subject at hand. I hope I can potentially help out at least one person who may have been misled by Gaming Bolt, or maybe didn't know any better and will now think a little more about PC gaming. Given my channel size, it's very unlikely I'd reach that kind of person, but as Mr. Potato Head once said, I can dream, can't I? There's not much else to go on. I just wanted to do a quick video addressing the issues and attempt to educate as well. And I think it's also good to always have another person calling out bullshit when you see bullshit. It doesn't hurt to have that one extra person that's going to correct misinformation or actually inform people without lying to them and without using misinformation or preying on somebody's lacking knowledge on the subject. That's it for me. Until the next video, have a good one.
Yeah, your skin exposed and fresh, holding on to every breath. We are just waiting.